Hello fuckers, Archie Luxury here. How are you fuckers today? And today I wanted to cover a very important part of care. And I'm talking about fountain pen care, fuckers, fountain pen care. And what are Archie's tips for fountain pen care? Now, the first thing is, firstly, before we go on, I want to know whether your fountain pen is worthy of care. Because there's some fuckers out there who have a piece of fucking shit. Piece of fucking shit. The basic line is, if your fountain pen has a solid gold nib, it's worthy. If it's steel nib, fuck it off. It's a piece of shit. Okay, let's go into fountain pen care. And for this program here, I've very nicely brought out my Montegrappa limited edition Art Deco pen released in 1988 to celebrate Montegrappa's brilliant founding. So here we go. What tips can you use for this pen here? Now, this fountain pen is what they call a piston pen because you turn the, this is fucking hard to do, this fucking thing, but basically, fuckers, you turn the end bit there, and it fills the chamber with ink. This is when you've got the fucker in the inkwell. There we go. I've just given a little bit of a squirt, fuckers. And there we go. We've got the fountain pen. So this has got ink in it. The best advice I can give you is this, okay, fuckers? Firstly, don't let any fucker use your fountain pen willy-nilly, because if they damage your nib, you're fucked. Okay, so if they damage the nib, it's fucked. There's a rule which says you shouldn't share fountain pens, and that's because people have got different writing styles and you will warp or damage the nib. Now, you can give a bit of leeway. I always say, when I'm doing the Archie Luxury Tour, and I got a beautiful busty brunette or busty blonde next to me, I'll let her have a go. But, you know, just sparingly. Just be careful on the nib. You drop it on the nib, it's fucked. Completely fucked. You need to send it back to the factory for replacement. So I'm just warning you, okay? The next thing is the fountain pen itself. Generally speaking, you're best with your fountain pen, when you're not using it, you're better off to have it empty and completely flush the chamber. And I also would recommend that you with the fountain pen, put it away safely. The most important thing is, this is a handcrafted piece here. It's in silver. You want to stop it rattling against other pens. So I've got a pen pouch for this one, and it just fits into its pouch there. So the most important things are, when the pen is not in use, flush it. Make sure you dry it properly. Completely dry it, and then put it away in a nice little, a little satchel or little packet, so it doesn't rub against other metal objects, because that'll fuck up the finish. The other thing is too, is that you must make sure you dry it out completely, because that water staying in it is not a fucking good thing. So generally speaking, if I was going to clean this pen, if I was going to flush it, I'd flush it in water a couple times, and then I would sit it on a tissue. Put it on a tissue to sit overnight so it drains out. In the morning, I would completely flush it out. Anything left in there, flush it all out. Get it all out. Let it sit for a couple of days. Then, now make sure no fucker's going to walk off with it or damage it when it's sitting there. So I basically put a few little tissues down. I like to fold the fuckers up, because I'm a pretty neat fucker. Fold it up into a square and just lay the bits down so it can get rid of all the water. And then basically, as far as the silver goes, I like the silver with a bit of tarnish, patina in it. Some people like to have it highly polished. I like it with a bit of patina, but if you are going to give the silver a bit of a clean, little bit of a silver cloth will do wonders for it. But I kind of like that, silver is such a wonderful metal. I absolutely love silver. I like that natural sort of silvery oxiding look there. So that's with a piston-filled fountain pen. If you're changing colours, you may need to let the sucker sit overnight in some warm water, and then yeah, that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do, fuckers. Okay, so that's my beautiful piston-filled fountain pen. The other thing, okay, let's look at some other fountain pen care, and here we go. Here's a Parker Duofold Millennium, and I love this pen. I love this pen. And this pen here, the fault is I generally don't wash out the caps, because what happens is on the Parker Duofolds, there's a bit of glue which holds the logo in. You keep washing it, that glue deteriorates, and the logo comes off. So you got to just be very sparingly. When I do wash out the pen, I basically, the black parts themselves, which are the cap and the barrel, I basically put to one side. They don't really go near the water unless you've got ink spilt on it. Then you can clean it up. But basically, here we go. This is a Cartridge fountain pen, and we can see here. So we'll just have a quick look. So that's the mechanism. You can clean that out in water. If the ink is really stubborn, let it sit for a day or so. And this is the cartridge here. So you can see here, I'm just flushing it through now. Even though I've had this fucker dry out a bit, it's still got a bit of residue inside the chamber. So if you're going to put that away, you really want to eliminate that. So just let these parts air out again on the tissue. Put them on top of the tissue, and you can actually see it. So the tissue will also make it bleed when the nib comes in contact with the tissue. So it'll get rid of any excess there. Now, I'm actually going to fill this very soon, so I'm not too concerned with that. But if you're putting these pens away, you want to make sure you get rid of any water there. You don't want trapped water. That can cause corrosion. It's actually worse than, the thing about fountain pens is if they're not in use, you want the ink out. Don't let the ink stay there. It goes all gunky and yucky, and it can be a real pig to clean out. And, you can sort of, it really hurts the pen there. So don't fucking do that. So there we go. That's a Parker Duofold Millennium. Again, it's got the solid gold nib. That's the thing that we know this is a decent fountain pen. And I've got a twin pouch. I've got a twin pouch for this here. And you can see my twin pouch has got two components. So that's so the two pens don't touch each other. So I'm using a red ink there, and I'm using a black or a brown, and this is a Cartier Must fountain pen. Again, it's also a cartridge type fountain pen. It's not a piston full like the Montegrappa. Same rules for cleaning this one out as well. You would basically same rules there, fuckers. So you want to keep it nice and clean. Same thing there to air it out there. This one's ready to get some ink in there. And look, it's got a bit of it's been put away, but look, this wasn't done 100% perfectly. See, it's got a bit of water there. So that's not good, Archie. That's what you want to try and avoid. That's why you should let them dry out a bit. I'm about to put some new inks in these pens, so it's not a huge problem, but I'm just showing you what you fuckers need to do there. Okay, so that's basically fountain pen care. Now, as far as the other part goes, this is a lacquered fountain pen. The Montegrappa was the Montegrappa is a silver, and the Parker Duofold is actually like a resin. It's a plastic, posh plastic, fuckers. How do you take care of them? Well, if they get a bit grubby, you can use a little bit of soapy water, warm soapy water. Give it a wipe off, and then just use a dry cloth, just a terry type toweling cloth, not too harsh or brisk, and that can clean it up. If it's got brass on it, silver on it, you can give it a bit of a polish with a polishing cloth. But just treat it like a piece of jewelry there, and hopefully, if it's a decent fountain pen, it would probably cost you about $1,000 retail. That's what you'd be spending for a decent fountain pen. And as I said before, these rules only apply if you've got a solid gold nib. If you've got a steel nib, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? So that's Archie Luxuries fountain pen tips, how to care for a fountain pen. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please like it and subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much, fuckers. See you later. Steel nibs suck. They are pieces of shit.
We specialize here in pre-owned Rolex watches. Rolex watch is a very special timepiece, and we always do the servicing exactly as factory specifications. We buy a pre-owned piece and we put it into brand new condition. We have Rolex certified technicians working on that. We completely disassemble the piece, we adjust and polish and change every single part of the watch.
You have to have certified watchmakers that know what they're doing. If you have an expensive car, you're just not going to bring it to any mechanic that doesn't know what they're doing.
You spend $5,000, it's like if you put money in the safe deposit box. And 1 or 2 years from now, you will keep having your $5,000. We have to spend a lot of money to get all this equipment together, but makes me feel I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's not a question of money, it's my passion.
Jewelers on time, simply the best.